All right. Great job. Great job. What is up, everybody? Welcome to 3 Men in the Basement. I want to be completely honest with you. This is not 3 Men in the Basement. This is 4 dads who care. Okay. These are 4 dads that have a passion for our children, and we are all have been affected by cancer in one way or another. But before we get started, we've got a lot of good things to talk about, and we've got a lot of people in the live chat. I'm going to turn the show over to Roger, but as you can see, we've got Guy Forge. We've got my co-host, Mr. Roger Levesque, running the whole show. And we've got Mr. Paul Jimenez, who is the father of Paulie, who is the organization, the charity that we have, Roger and the Pressable Defects in 3 Men in the Basement have worked very diligently to raise some money for. We're going to go over all of that. But thank you, everybody, for being here tonight and joining us, because your donations and your generosity have caused a lot of great things. So I'm going to keep it at that. We're going to keep the energy high. We're going to talk about all the things that's going to be given away tonight and all the good things that these people in this community have done for the Pauliestrong organization. So, Roger, that being said, how many people we got in the chat and who's hanging out with us?
It looks like we got about 40 people. I just, before I go through all the names, I just want to thank everybody that's here live, anybody that's going to be watching this on the rewind to see if they won, and all the people in the community donated and bought in on this, for a bunch of meatball comic book guys to be able to raise some money to do some good. It means a lot to me, and it definitely means a lot to the people who actually need that money. So we got Uncanny Swag, the coworkers, Uso Ortiz, Sith Lordly, Dave Coleman. We have Something Wong. We have Rudy Tatagui, Rude Dog, Wesley's Comics. We have Spidey Powder Tumblers, Michael Benston. Let's go through here. There's some tailgating going on. Monster Warrior, what's up, brother? We got I don't want to lose my place. Shortbox Bernie in the house. What's up, brother? One of the donors. We have Sean Miller, Grunt Comics. What's up, my man? Alex Garcia, the illustrator.
All right.
Behind all our new logos and swag. Love that guy. Michael P. Skeleton Key Comics. Thank you for joining us. We have, let me see, Emerald Knight. Chris, what's up, bro? I think I lost my spot. Let me keep going. New Village Comics in the house. Joker GTZ's in the house. We have Jason Klein 221. Matthew Fox. Said Sean Miller. War.lock. And Jim O. Peter Porker. Uncanny X Dan. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. Paul PC 1974. Street Side Anthony. The legend himself. Basement Treasures. Marco Big Droops 13. Uncle Frank. What is up? The brother, Dave Levesque.
Uncle Frank.
Matthew Fox. Automatic Comics. Joker Jack. Tim LaGrange. Mr. Wonkers. Randy Sloan. Read a private message, brother. I'm waiting for your response. Amy Nieves, all the way from the, what'd she say? She's 50 miles north of the North Pole.
Correct. That's right.
And I think that's it. If I miss you guys, I'm sorry. Keep chopping it up in the chat, and we'll get to you as usual. But this is.
Did you mention Sith Lordly, Johnny Rosado?
I did not see Johnny. Phil Allen, John Swanson, Johnny Dakota.
You know what would have been fun?
What's that?
To have Paul do the chat. That would have been fun.
Oh, that's right. All these names.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to some of these names, for sure. So, all right. So that's with the chat. And, we partnered up with the Pressable Defects. I saw one of their shows where they talked about Pauliestrong. And, of course, right away, everybody heard about the Lego thing that they do every year. And I know that this community went out strong. And I had coworkers who were getting money together and buying Lego sets. And when I went on the website and I realized how much more this organization did, I'm like, I'm all in. And so, Guy, thanks for bringing this to our attention, man. Say what's up to the people.
What is up? I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on 3 Men. What is up, Defects?
Yeah, we'll take it.
All right,
guys. Happy to be here. I to be honest, I wouldn't be any other place in the world right now. I've known Paul for probably it's going on maybe 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I'm not a nicer guy out there. Sorry about you guys up there, but
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. Paul, I can't believe you just admitted to being friends with Guy for that long. I mean,
I know.
Every once in a while, I need to get a deal on a Jeep,
Yeah.
See what happens. Nah, listen, it's a great organization. Obviously, the money is put to the right place. We know how little money sometimes goes towards cancer research, and it's amazing how much they put. And it's just a I love being able to help in any way I can. Obviously, when Paul does stuff, every year, I'm happy to get involved with it. Happy to get involved with the Lego drive. Happy to get involved with the golf outing. He'll tell you about that, which is a major success as well. They run a great outing, and it's a lot of fun. And obviously, in the end, the whole point of it is to raise money. So they do a great job at it. And this community was amazing at getting on board with this. I can't thank you all enough. Whoever's watching live, whoever's watching on the replay, you guys took the bull by the horns, to say the least, and ran with it. A lot of people got involved, and it's not. Listen, a little bit here, a little bit there adds up to a lot here, a lot there. So whatever you can do, I mean, that's what was helpful, and it's all for this. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
So
with that being said, I want to welcome Paulie's father, Paul Jimenez. Did I say that right?
You got it.
All right. I appreciate you, man, joining us, man. Say hello to the people. We'll get into, the organization and all that a little bit later, but if you want to say hello and what you're feeling right now.
Listen, this is as a comic book geek kid growing up, I would tell you this is a dream come true, and I wish I was here for other reasons. But I got to tell you, when I heard what you guys were doing as a community, it hit me right in the heart. And I'm going to take you guys back as fathers, as parents. I'm going to take you back to 2015, right? I had firstborn son, was born in 2005, was my best friend in the whole wide world. And we did everything together. And in fact, I'm going to share something with everybody. So this was Paulie and I. We took a trip to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're diehard Niners fans, and we went to go see the 49ers play the Steelers. And this was going to be the first of every year going on a road trip to see the Niners play. This picture was taken in the beginning of October in 2015. And 3 months later, he was no longer here. And this was a picture of a perfectly healthy 10-year-old boy. And a week after that photo was taken, we took a family trip to Washington, D.C. because they were learning about government in 5th grade. And we figured what better place than to take the kids and go to D.C. And during that trip, we did a ton of walking. I don't know if you guys have ever been to D.C., but it's museums and restaurants. And he was tired and sitting down, and we chalked it up to, hey, listen, we're tropical beach vacation people, and we're normally sitting down relaxing in the sun and the surf, and there's a lot of walking. So that's kind of what we chalked it up to. And a couple of days after we got back home from that trip, he woke up early in the morning, and he wasn't feeling right. And I actually had to leave to go to Toronto on business. And I told my wife, just, keep an eye on him. He'll be all right. And literally, I left that morning at 6 a.m. And by the time I landed in Toronto from LaGuardia, my wife called me in a panic, telling me that Paulie woke up, was white as a ghost, and collapsed on the bathroom floor. And they were rushing him to the doctor. And they took him to the doctor, and they said, no problem. He seems like he's got a ruptured appendix. And we're going to transfer you to the city, to New York City, for an emergency appendectomy. That was enough to completely freak me out. When I landed, I spent the whole day at the airport trying to turn around and come back home. There were storms in Toronto that day. I didn't get back home until midnight. And I landed in LaGuardia at midnight that night in October. And my wife I had a voicemail message from my wife, crying hysterical, telling me, it's bad, call me, you've got to get here now. They think it's cancer. And I was like, oh, it can't be. And just even hearing that, I lost all control of my emotions and was like hysterical, trying to drive my way to the hospital, thinking there's no way that my little boy, we just came back from a game, has cancer. And we got to the doctor, and they said, well, we're going to transfer you to Sloan Kettering because we think it's a tumor that ruptured and it had nothing to do with his appendix. And the doctors at Memorial Sloan Kettering took a look at Paul and they said, yeah, it's rhabdomyosarcoma. I'm like, what the hell is I had never heard rhabdomyosarcoma in my life. I didn't even know that kids could really get cancer. Like, you never heard about that growing up in school. And it was so, if they did, it was so rare that it was somebody else's kid, not somebody that, you know, you would ever have a connection with, let alone be your own. And Paul was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, and it was a cancerous tumor lodged. It's a cancer of the soft muscle tissue is what it is. And his was lodged in, of all places, an impossible to operate place lodged between his pancreas and the tail end of his spleen. Oh, and the doctor said to us, listen, this is too dangerous to operate. He won't survive the surgery. So we're going to recommend 54 weeks of chemotherapy and radiation. Let's shrink it down to a manageable size, stop the bleeding, and then we can take it from there. When you hear something like that as a parent, I got to tell you guys, your only job, my only job I felt as a father was to protect my kid. And I felt like there was nothing I could do to protect him. It was a hopeless feeling. But at the same time, not even for 1 second did we ever think we're not going to beat this, right? It was positivity the entire time. Okay, we'll go through it. 54 weeks of chemo radiation. You know, you're going to lose your hair, whatever. We'll get through it together. I'll be right there holding your hand every day. And Paul his tumor quickly went from 3 centimeters to 33 centimeters in 2.5 months. Ouch. And that it wasn't showing any signs of slowing down. And there was a night, January 4th, we were going to sleep. I slept in his room, and we were going to the hospital the next day for inpatient chemotherapy for a few days. And that night we went to Best Buy. We bought a few games for his PSP handheld. We got some pillows from Bed Bath & Beyond. And all night long he tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. And that morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I went to wake him up to take him to the hospital. And he couldn't put any pressure on his legs and was white as a ghost. And I carried him downstairs, and I just remember yelling to my wife, like, call 911, something's not right. And we transferred him to White Plains Hospital. They did an emergency blood transfusion, and they told us then he's got sepsis. It's an infection of the blood. We'll do some blood transfusions. He'll be okay. They did blood transfusions, and then they said, let's put him in the ambulance and take him back to Sloan Kettering where his doctors are so that they can see him and he could start his treatment. From that ambulance ride from White Plains to the city was 45 minutes. By the time we got there, he was right back to where we were first thing in the morning, where he couldn't even move. And what they said was the tumor that he had 2.5 months ago when they diagnosed him had now ruptured again, and he was bleeding out internally. And we were faced as parents with the impossible decision of, you know, do we go in there and try and stop the tumor from bleeding where he can bleed out, or do we have the doctors go in there and remove it? And after consulting with the doctors, they felt he wouldn't survive it if they didn't attempt to go in there and take the tumor out that morning. And that day, 2.5 hours into what was supposed to be a 7-hour surgery, they got the tumor out, and then Paulie's heart stopped beating. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, take your time, bro.
And, you know, the kicker was he was such a positive kid. And, you know, in the picture, he was always smiling throughout the treatments, throughout everything. And you see he had the red and black 49ers jersey. They had just come out with their Color Rush uniforms that year. And he decided during the first couple of weeks of being in treatment that he wanted to start a T-shirt drive to raise money for his doctors. And this was the first design, was the Pauliestrong T-shirt. And Paulie's goal was to sell 100 of these T-shirts to fund research money for his doctors. He didn't even understand really what he had. He didn't understand how rare it was, but he knew that if he could raise some money to help his doctors, it might help other kids like him. And his goal was 100 shirts. And at the time, I was like, absolutely, we're going to kill it. We're going to sell 100 shirts. I didn't think we'd sell 20 shirts, to be honest with you. And we sold thousands of those shirts. And unfortunately, he passed away before he got to see that money turned around and donated to his doctors. And we were faced with the loss of our beautiful 10-year-old son, my best friend in the whole world, and having two little girls at home, his younger sisters, who were 8 and 5, who didn't understand and not know what they were supposed to do. I mean, we had to come home from the hospital that night, and they looked at us and they knew we came home alone, and they knew something was wrong. And having to explain that to two little girls, you know, my wife and I looked at each other that night and we said, this can go one of two ways. And we can, as parents, put our head in the sand, become massively depressed, and that's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help our kids. Or we can try and do something to turn this into a positive thing. And while Paul was going through cancer treatment, I tried not to read anything. I didn't want to, it's like Han Solo, never tell me the odds, right? I didn't want to know a damn thing. I just wanted to know, how do we get through this, get to the other side, get better, and start going to more games together. And trying to research anything. But then after he passed away and we started going through the motions of trying to understand what this was, I found that childhood cancer is so massively underfunded that less than 4% of all cancer research funding goes to support kids. And that to me is just, it's unacceptable and it's mind-blowing. And so we decided that we were going to start the Pauliestrong Foundation in Paul's honor, and that we were going to raise money to fund research into childhood cancer. And we've been going at this now for just over 5 years, and we just hit $1.5 million as a nonprofit.
That is, kudos to you guys. That is unbelievable.
And in this fight, every single dollar counts. And we meet with the doctors at Sloan Kettering who share their research with cancer hospitals all over the world. And the treatments that we are funding are making a significant impact in the lives of kids who are being treated, not just with rhabdo, but with all types of cancers. And already from meeting with the chief of pediatrics at Sloan Kettering, we've been told multiple times that kids who would come in with what Paulie had at that time would receive a completely different treatment than they would have when he was brought in only 5 years ago. And, our feeling is if there were other people, other foundations doing what we were doing, for the last bunch of years, maybe our outcome would have been different. But we don't have a choice. And Paulie was so strong in his fight that we're going to, start up Pauliestrong, keep his memory alive, and try to change the world for kids. And, we do a Lego drive every March and April in honor of his birthday. I mean, Forge over here filled up an entire back of a pickup truck, a couple of years ago and helped me deliver the stuff. And, cancer hospitals, you wouldn't think it, but Legos are one of the most in-demand items at a cancer hospital because these kids need something to take their mind off the painful treatment. And at the same time, they have such compromised immune systems that they can't share toys within one another. So there's new sets that are needed all the time. So as a foundation, we do that to honor him. We do the Lego drive, and then we do a golf outing in September, which is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, where we have a huge online auction that goes on for several days. We just did it this past September during a pandemic, and I figured we're not going to, raise anything, but let's at least do it. And we hit $210,000 in that auction this past.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, that's why what you guys are doing and what you've put together for this charity auction is so vitally important. Because every single dollar counts in this fight. And what you're doing is so special for me and my family and how we want to honor our son, Paul, but also in the fight for all kids who have been diagnosed with cancer and are going to be diagnosed with cancer. Because through this battle, we've learned that 7 kids are diagnosed with cancer in this country every single day. I'm sorry, not 7, 43 kids are diagnosed with cancer every single day. And 7 of those are going to die from it. And, every little bit that we can do to change their fortune, because as I tell people all the time, I don't want to scare anybody, but I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know anything. And to me, it's never going to be my kid. And so I tell people, it's never your kid until it is.
Well, it is.
Then what do you do? So anyway, that's our story. If anybody wants to learn more about what we're doing or wants, we do still sell Pauliestrong t-shirts and hats, and not everybody can support, monetarily, and we get that, and that's totally cool. What we're looking for is to create awareness around what we're doing and awareness for childhood cancer and childhood cancer research. So please, you can check us out at pauliestrong.org.
Actually, the link to your website is in the description of this video. So if you go to see more on the description of this video, you're going to see a quick description and then the link to their website, guys.
That's awesome. I mean, I was telling Forge the other day, I'm sitting in a room right now in my house where I have a box of comics. I've got about, I don't know, probably 100 comics in this box that I collected as a kid. And I saved those comics my whole life because I was going to pass those on to my son. And I sit here in a room with that box of comics. I'm going to wind up giving it to my daughter, I'm sure. But that, as a guy growing up, when you have your firstborn son, you think about those things and you plan for those things, and you certainly don't plan for some of the stuff that comes up along the way.
This is why I get yelled at by half of these guys that I don't sell anything, because I have to hold on to this for my boys. I think we all understand that, Paul, and we all understand obviously the emotion that's connected to that too. So.
Paul, can I ask you? I'm sorry, real quick. Paul, who was Paulie's favorite superhero? Could we ask that?
Sure. Paulie was a Batman kid all the way.
All right, there you go.
Paulie was a Batman kid. Went as Batman for Halloween. One of my favorite memories. He went to a small little private school in Ridgefield, Connecticut for a few years for elementary school. And I remember picking him up early from school, and he's like, "Dad, why are you here to get me?" And I said, "Paul, the Avengers just came out. We're going to the movies." And awesome. We went to the movies, and I had on he had on his Captain America helmet. I had on a shield. I had on my Thor helmet. And, I went with this 5-year-old kid to go out of school early to go watch the Avengers. And
right on.
That's good stuff. So, I mean, one of the things, and I explained this a little bit Friday, I just want to go over quick. So I lost my sister to cancer. My father's battling it now. My wife lost her father. I donate a lot of my time to the cancer community. Before the pandemic, I went to Washington 2 or 3 times a year, sat in front of my legislators to demand them to put more money towards cancer research. My sister had a chance at the clinical trial, and they just, because of budget cuts, decided she wasn't worth that chance. And she lost her life 2 months after that because she gave up. The money wasn't there, and the decision that they had made. So I know the kind of money that is spent on research, and that it's not enough to begin with. When I started reading your story on your website, as much as I'm involved, that was the first I knew that only 4% went to childhood cancer. It completely, absolutely fucking blew my mind. Excuse my French. Like for the amount of times that I'm fighting for cancer research and forcing my elected officials to be responsible to vote for that money to be there, so that people, so that bottom research grant is the one that may cure cancer. 4%. That's fucking just blows my mind. Just blows my mind. And when you even on the website talk about Paulie couldn't understand that the treatment he was getting was the same treatment that from 20, 30 years ago, that there was technology hadn't helped the treatment whatsoever because of the lack of research.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's where there's, we're one of, hundreds, probably thousands of small foundations that are out there, but what we are doing as these small foundations is bridging that gap, right? It's that 4%. You'll see. I use a lot of hashtags, in our social media posts on the Pauliestrong Foundation that are more than 4, and that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting to bridge that gap of more than 4%, because I know that Paulie was worth more than 4%. And I know every child is worth more than that.
Absolutely. Well, I commend you guys for what you've done, what you've started. Like I said, with all the work that I've done, this is a new avenue that I've never, thank God, had to have been a part of. I have Everett and I both have sons who are sophomores in high school. I could not even imagine. I have a daughter who's in college. I could not even imagine. Losing my sister was hard enough. So to find out this information is the reason I was like, oh no, we're going to raise some money for this foundation because it needs it, and that's where you want to do the most work where it's needed most, right?
We're super grateful, and for us, it became therapy for my little one and I to just go outside and start cooking on the grill. So we have a big barbecue channel, Big Paul on the Grill on Instagram and on YouTube also, where we're out there cooking. And what we do with all of that is we brand everything Pauliestrong. because everything that we do is for awareness to try and raise money. I mean, it's changed our lives for the rest of our lives. And, you know, I know that I've got an angel that's looking down on us, and we're just going to do everything we can to spend the rest of our lives making that little kid proud. And, you know, it's weird now because it's been almost 6 years, and this past March should have been Paulie's 16th birthday. And, you know, as a dad, you start thinking, wow, you know, we're supposed to be doing driving lessons. And, you know, I was joking with my little 10-year-old daughter, and I was like, oh, you know, Paulie would be talking about dating girls now and stuff, probably. She's like, Dad, he was doing that when he was 5. But, yeah, I mean, but those are the things that you start to think about, the milestones that you had and the milestones that you'll never have. And, you know, there's not a day that goes by that I don't break down thinking about that stuff, and probably overthinking about that stuff. But you know what? I'm here and he's not, and we're going to fight in his honor for the rest of my life. So again, I'm just super grateful to you guys for having me on to let me share the story, and most importantly, for letting me create awareness for what we're doing and for what you guys are doing with this auction. And some of these comics is just so super cool that, you know, the 10-year-old geek in me wants to jump right back into and go down the rabbit hole and, you know, start more problems in my house as I start bringing in more toys.
You hang out long enough, Paul. You'll get hooked.
Don't worry. Yeah. Speaking of the comics, so I think now's a good transition, and I really appreciate you sharing your story. I know from telling my sisters it doesn't ever get easier, but you understand that your story is more powerful than anything anybody can say, and that's what forces other people to get involved and help. You know, so. Moving on, I'm gonna go through the list of all the books that were donated and who donated them, so everybody can understand the people in this community that were generous, as well as the people, like when we go through and I scroll through all the names, the people who bought spots are just as generous. I mean, some
Correct.
people did both. So, so the first list we have here, so we have a Wolverine 1 through 4 miniseries donated by Jose Gonzalez, Venom 3 First Null, donated by Pat House, Shortbox Bernie, Lethal Protector number 1, CGC 98, The Coworker, Jesus, X-Men number 4, First Omega Red at a 9.0, and the first Robin King at a 9.8. Both came from me. Spider-Man number 1, Gold, second print, CGC 9.6 from Uncle Frank, as well as a New Mutants number 1, CGC 9.4. Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider, Crane Virgin variant, CGC 9.8. Donated by Erod. Silver Surfer number 44 at a 9.4, which is the first Infinity Gauntlet. Donated by Pressable Defect, Jade the Butcher. Captain Marvel 8, second printing, CGC 9.8, first Attar, donated by Pressable Defect, Matt Forge. G.I. Joe number 5, Dave Johnson, Virgin cover, CGC 9.9 by this guy.
Oh,
This guy with a 9.9. Oh. 2 copies, two different variants of the last round of number 1, and a $50 off pressing services to Spineworks, donated by Lenny and Michael Raphael at Spineworks. List number 2, New Avengers number 7, First Illuminati, donated by Vancouver Comic Junkie. You know, I don't know why I don't have the grade on there, but
high
Captain
grade.
America 217, CBCS 8.5, First Marvel Man, also by Vancouver Comic Junkie. We have an ASM 607 J. Scott Campbell Black Cat cover by Mike Benston. Teen Titans Rebirth and Green Lantern 100-pager, also by Mike Benston. Venom 11 and 23, Moon Knight 2 and 27, also by Mike Benston. Mighty Avengers 1, CGC 9.4, New Team by 3 Men in the Basement. Everett. Marvel Super Action number 1, CGC 9.8, donated by Matt Howard. Wolverine number 80, CGC 8.5. That's the first X23 in a test tube. And the X23 number 1 tan variant, donated by Chris Emerald Knight. We have a Ghost Rider Vengeance 1, ASM 55, first and second print. Those are the what's the name of the guy that did those Spider-Mans? It almost looks like it's made out of spider webs. Someone in the chat help me out. Venom 1, I think the second print is red, right?
Yeah.
Venom number 1, Snake Eyes Dead Game 1, Trade and Virgin, and an ASM 101 facsimile donated by Coco Loves Chevy. Maestro 1 through 5 and the Maestro War and Packs 1 and 2 donated by Johnny Rosado. I Dream of August Comics. Amazing Spider-Man number 49 Mark Brooks variant CGC 9.8 Signature Series donated by Alex Garcia. And the list has been tweaked. There's one more item on here, and it is on our 2,500 sub giveaway. I had a stack of raw books that we gave away, and it went to the first person in the chat, who was Amy Nieves from Aegis Comics Alaska, and she donated it to this. So instead of 23 people winning, 24 people are going to win when we do the drawing. Whew.
Wow, take a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Some pictures of those books.
Yep. So while Roger's showing off the pictures, something that I thought that was very relevant, and this is a shout out to everybody. This money was raised in 1 week, 7 days. These items were donated within 14 days. So this all occurred, Roger, 15 days at best, right? From when you talked about this with these guys, from when you decided.
It's about a week before. Well, about a week before I went live.
Yep.
I shot out a post and out to private, like in private messages too, saying I'm doing this. If anybody wants to donate, let me know. And it just came flooding in.
Yeah. So 15 days. So kudos to you. Before we go any further with this, I think, Roger, you need a big, high five for yourself, man, because you took this ball, you rolled with it, you talked to everybody you had to do. So kudos to you. And I'm sure what I'm saying resonates. And I don't say many good things about you. Let's get it fair. Let's keep it real, But I am trying to say something good about you here right now, buddy. So you've done good on this, my friend. You've done good, in which everybody will say that. So
thank you, guys.
All right. Yep.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Absolutely.
All right, so do we want to do the drawing?
Yeah, let's see.
All right, so hopefully I don't screw this up. So if anybody has not been part of a Instagram raffle, basically the way it works is I roll a set of dice. Whatever those, if I get Snake Eyes, I re-roll. Whatever those dice equal up to is how many times we randomize everybody's name in the randomized website. So what I'll do is I'll show everybody. Here are the people that bought spots. I'll go through them slowly. So if you're watching, you can make sure I have your name in here. Because you can see most people bought multiple spots. Some people bought very many spots. I figured it was 183 total people who bought spots in this, which equal 250 total spots.
Nice.
We will be donating $2,500 to the Pauliestrong Foundation. I was hoping to have a check today, but I didn't think about the 2 days it takes for the money to get from PayPal to the bank. So I wasn't able to pull that off. But so those are all the names. So I'm going to roll the dice.
And then, Rod, you're going to take the top 25 people?
24.
Top 24 people are going to win.
Right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out individually. So if you win, please don't reach out to me. I'm going to need about a half a day break from the chaos that has been my last 2 days between collecting this money and doing all this and the pre-sales for our T-shirts that I didn't think through all the way. So I'm going to need like a day off. So I'm going to reach out one at a time. So whoever is in first place, I'm going to send them the list of books and say, which one do you want? Once he picks, I'm going to take it off the list and go to the person who finishes second. Here's what's left. What book do you want? And so on and so forth until all the books are gone.
So what you're saying is don't reach out to you, right?
Please don't reach out to me.
Please don't reach out. Just to reiterate that, because sometimes these guys don't know how to follow the rules.
Yeah, and people, like, I get it. They're like, I started the groups, and they're like, where do I send the money? I'm like, you guys got to give me a second to get all the groups set up and make sure I have all the names. So finally I was like, please be patient. So I'm doing my best.
Roger will reach out to the winners.
I will reach out to the winners one by one. Yes. So
you just give them Forge's home address and tell them they can pick that up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Relax.
Or if you have his home phone number, that would be good. All right. So the dice roll was 3. Okay?
3. That's a quick one.
So that's a quick one. So you saw all the names. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to randomize this 3 times. So here we go. That's 1.
Two.
That's 2.
This is so exciting.
This is it. Let's see. Who's the top one?
Randomized 2 times.
I bet it's Vancouver comic junkie.
Listen, we got 3 dice, and again.
Joker
All
GTZ
right,
is first.
Joker GTZ, Comic Crow, Mr. Walker, Skeleton Key, Black Dragon, Matt Howard, Vancouver, Nice Cover Road, Devin, Vancouver, Spidey, and you can win more than once, guys, because this isn't a free raffle. Everybody pays $10 with a chance to win. So if you buy 20 spots and you win 20 times, kudos to you.
Yep.
So you can see all the names. Obviously, This is a live video. It's going to be here for a while, so you know who you are. And
there's a lot of great winners right there.
Yes.
These
and
names
you
are
know
all
what?
people
And it's great, active in the community, and a lot of these guys donated to. A lot of these guys bought a lot of spots, and they're always in our chat and stuff. So it just goes to show you, this is going to be live. So if you want to go rewatch this, I'm going to end up rewatching it and taking a screenshot of it, so I have a good list of who won. And there you go.
Top 24 names, right?
Top 24 names. One more time. Here are the 24 names.
Who was the 25th guy?
Vancouver Comic Junkie. That's all right, because he won 2 other times.
He won 2 other times. So there you go.
So so good for him. You would feel bad if it was someone who didn't win. Yeah. So no, I don't feel bad for him.
All right. That's awesome. Look at that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody. Thank you to everybody who participated in this. Thank you for donations, for buying in, for posting it, reposting it, sharing it on Instagram. This thing was shared hundreds of times, whether it was on the stories or feeds. The community made this as easy as possible because everybody was all in. So
such a cool community that you guys have going here, and I'm just happy to have been able to share a small little part in it. But again, thank you from the bottom of my heart and from our family and our foundation, for everybody who participated. And I know it was a ton of work behind the scenes. So Roger, thank you.
You're very welcome, my new friend. And like I said, in the description, guys, of this video is the link to Pauliestrong. If you're watching this going, oh crap, I wish I wish I would have known or whatever. Go to the website. You could buy a T-shirt if that's all if that's all you have money for. If you there's the Lego drive is still going.
Lego drive's still going on. Yeah,
Lego drive is still going. So if you're like, you want to buy a Lego set, there's a whole page of Amazon's, all different sets on Amazon that it gets delivered directly to the kids who can't share Yeah, there is a golf on. Can't share Legos because they're sick. It's like gold. They're having toys that the kids can play with to keep their minds occupied because they can't share. And once they use them, they have to get tossed. So
are we
that drive is going on. We have, you got the golf outing in September, you said, right?
Golf outing in September. We've got a huge online auction. Anybody wants to donate any items to the auction, we have some cool software that manages the auction online, so anybody can participate anywhere in the world in a silent auction. That's going to wrap at the end of the golf outing, which I think tentatively is like the last Monday in September. So we're working.
Are we actually doing it this year?
We are actually doing it this year. If you're there in person, one of the cool things that we do is we've got a helicopter that flies over the 18th fairway and drops 2,000 golf balls.
Yes. The guy was telling us about that.
I told him about this.
Go ahead, Paulie. Tell me about it. I love this idea. This I'm like a little kid.
The coolest thing in the world. So it was funny because I had seen another foundation do it in California, and I went to this exclusive country club near my house that we hold the golf outing at. And I'm like, guys, I got this great idea. We're gonna get a helicopter. It's gonna fly in. We're gonna drop 2,000 balls. And Stoneface, the people from the country club, just look at me and go, to hell you're dropping golf balls out of a helicopter. So I had the helicopter guy come in and tell them, listen, we're going to do it on the fairway, not on the green, and we're going to draw a big circle, and the guy's got good aim, and it's just, everybody buys a ball, and the ball that lands closest to the pin or winds up in the hole wins all the cash is in a 50-50. So it's just
I'm all about that.
These guys, you don't know what these guys do, man. You're gonna sell a lot of balls. I'll tell you that much.
That's unbelievable. That's like the worst odds I've ever had, but I can't wait to buy $100 worth or something like that.
The kicker was the last time that we did it. The first time we did it, the guy who won wasn't there. We'd never heard of him. He had seen it on I'm in the automotive industry, so he had seen it on an automotive forum where I posted it, thought it was a good cause, bought a ball. Great. I'm glad that he won. Fantastic. Never heard from him again. The second time we did it, and I'm standing there doing it live on Instagram, live on Facebook, and live with a microphone for hundreds of people. And the winner was my wife's cousin.
Really?
And my wife is Greek, so it's a very Greek last name. As I'm reading the name, and I'm mumbling the last name.
And let me ask you this, Paul: is there like a on the website like a mailing list you can be a part of where you get notified of these different events?
Yep.
The guys who are asking questions.
Yep. On Pauliestrong.org, there's a button at the top that you can join the email list. We're on social media. On Pauliestrong on Instagram and the Pauliestrong Foundation on Facebook, and then I'm on Big Paul on the Grill on Instagram as well. And we're always updating what we're doing. And so there's so many different ways that people can participate throughout the course of the year. And to your point, the Lego Drive is still going on, and we set it up as an Amazon Smile link where when you go and you buy it, the address for the hospital automatically will show up in the drop-down menu, and the items can get shipped directly to the hospital this year and goes straight to the kids.
Plus, part of the money that is raised on Amazon goes back to your own charity through the Smile.Amazon. I've been doing that for years with the Livestrong Foundation that I've been involved with for the last 12 years, and people don't know about it. It doesn't cost you any money. If you go to smile.amazon.com instead of just amazon.com, you log in with your same credentials, and part of the money that you spend on Amazon goes to a charity of your choice.
0.5% of every dollar that you spend, and it adds up. I mean, we wind up getting several $100s a month that come in. It gets donated by Amazon, and it's all those people that attach their account to it. It makes a tremendous difference.
It costs you nothing, guys. You don't even have to create a new account or none. You just go to smile.amazon.com. You log into your regular Amazon account, and bam, when you buy something, it goes right to the charity of your choice. Free money for the charity. Don't cost you a dime.
Wow.
So, and then I also dropped the link in the chat just in case people aren't sure where the description is of the video. So if you guys want to go on there, figure out, there's a million ways on there to be able to get involved, guys, whether it's donating, buying merchandise. It's got some cool stuff on there, string bags and everything. And, the golf outing, the golf ball drop. I'm definitely going to get on the list, and hell, I'm only an hour away. So fuck yeah, I'm coming to play golf.
Paul, we might have some more foursomes that we might need to put aside for these guys once they start grabbing who's coming. So they're gonna open up their wallets and play some golf that day.
Hell yeah,
nice. We sell out every year, so we get 144 golfers out there every year, and then we have over 300 people in there for the dinner. So we canceled it obviously last year, and we'll play it safe this year, play it by ear, and kind of see how things go. But I'm looking forward to just getting back out there with everybody.
For sure.
And an awesome thing too at the dinner afterwards, which I think is phenomenal. Now I've done it for how many years now, but if any of these guys come, we got to spend a little time with Paulie's doctors and some of the nurses that were there, which is, I mean, it's an honor. Let's just put it that way. To sit there and listen to them and I know they speak but just to sit down and have dinner with them. I mean, I've sat at the table with them and just got to enjoy their company.
It's a different type of person to do the jobs that those people do, right? It requires
for sure.
I tell anybody, if you want a life-changing experience, walk the 9th floor at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Hospital in New York City, and you will see life through a different lens for the remainder of your days. And for these people who spend their lives treating kids and having to do that for a living with such a passion and such a heart for it. I mean, we dealt with that team and those doctors and nurses only for 2.5 months. There's people that deal with this for years. Yeah. And they're family to us at this point. And, they treated us like family the second we walked in the door. And I always feel like it's important when we have these events and these fundraisers for people to hear directly from the doctors and the researchers who are putting that money to work directly into the labs. Yep. And to hear how it's working and what projects they're working on. And they're more than happy to come and share that information and talk to anybody and everybody who's there about the cause. And so, yeah, just looking forward to it again this year.
It's awesome.
For sure. I had the pleasure of one of the times going to Austin for training for Livestrong. They have a children's hospital there that had just opened. I don't want to say I had the pleasure. I was lucky enough to be able to tour it. You know, they don't let a lot of people walk through there. And I hear what you're saying, man. You look around going, oh my God, I cannot even imagine. You know, it's a completely different experience than when I walked around the cancer center here when my sister was in there. You know, like, it's just, you can't even explain what it does to your heart when you see these little kids.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've been going for 45 minutes. This has been great, Paul. I really appreciate you coming on. You have any last words before we sign out?
No, listen, I just, again, from the bottom of our hearts, I just want to say thank you, not just for me, but listen, on behalf of this guy right here who, you know, there's not a room in my house where I can't turn and see a picture of this smiling face. And I know that, you know, this was at 10 years old. At 16, he probably wouldn't even look like this anymore. But that's the other thing is, right, I always say, like, forever 10, because that's what he's going to be for us. But what you guys have done on behalf of kids who are battling cancer, I mean, $2,500, you guys managed to pull that together as a community. And each and every one of you guys that participated either through donating or by participating in the auction, I mean, that is tremendous and something to be proud of. So can't thank you guys enough for the opportunity, for having me on, for putting this together, and for pulling those funds for the foundation. And we'll put it straight to work in the lab. So thank you so much. Thank you, Guy, for making the intro to these guys above you, because you guys are a phenomenal group.
It's just the start of it.
Yeah.
Guy, what you got, man? Say.
I can't say enough. Like I said, I've known Paul now almost for 20 years. I'm very excited that obviously we were able to put something together with the help of three men and with the help of Roger. You know, the defects, the other guys couldn't be here tonight, but they're obviously here. Right. You know, they're right here. They know what this means to me and what this means to all of us here. And to Paul, especially. God bless you guys. Thank you. I got to say, Paul, we can point at our hats, right? And then we can represent too, and show them your shirt, bro.
Oh, and then Guy, you one up, you guy. You gotta go.
You got to one up me with the tattoo. Come on.
No commitment, brother. No commitment.
I don't have the tattoo. I got the shirt. Look,
You got the shirt. I love it.
But I am one guy sitting in my basement, though, too.
That's right. There you go. So that's it.
There you go.
Well, you
All
completed us three, because Dave couldn't make it either. He wasn't feeling
Right.
well. So
Exactly.
all right,
thank
Guy.
you.
Yeah, Guy, appreciate it. And you know what, guys who were in the chat, we weren't ignoring your super chats as they came in. I just felt that this one time, what we were discussing, what we were talking about, kind of trumped showing videos of us burning money for super chats. So I hope everybody understands that. I hope nobody's upset that we didn't point it out. And it doesn't mean we don't appreciate the super chat. We absolutely do, as always. And so I just want to thank the entire community. This has been a great experience. It's definitely not going to be the last time I do this. And like I said, I've been donating my time to the cancer community for a while, and I think I've just found my new charity for sure. This has just been a great cause. The idea behind it, the fact that you can make something so good out of something so tragic, based on a little guy at 10 years old who inspired you to say, why does it have to be like this? Why 54 weeks? Why has it been the same for 20 years? Why aren't they doing more? And I see it with all kids. They so much stronger than adults when it comes to that stuff. They don't know what they're about to go through. They just want to know why it's happening and why it's not, why people don't do a better job of getting rid of it. So I commend you, Paul, you and your family, for what you've done in honor of your boy, and he is definitely smiling down on you. And I'm glad I was able to find a charity through the defects. So thank to everybody who donated and everything. And give me a day before I reach out to you guys to figure out what books you want, please.
Yep. All right. So we're going to wrap it up. Please follow Roger's instructions. We're not going to tell you about the channel because this isn't about our channel. This is about the foundation, the Pauliestrong Foundation. So check it out. We are 3 Men in the Basement. We are the Pressable Defects. This has been Paulie Jimenez from Pauliestrong. Good night, everybody. Hold your loved ones a little tighter tonight.
Good night.